So, we're back.
Movies by the letter. Let's talk about
Movies by the letter.
Another coming at you.
You know who it is.
It's your boys.
Nick.
Not your grandmommy's
Nick.
podcast. We got Nick, we got Nicky
Nick.
Boy, we got Kata, we got Johnny
Boom, boom,
Boy
boom.
over here. Bing bang boom, bada bing bada
My
boom.
phone's going off.
We got phone
We got
calls.
Nick Cage.
We got Trump on the line.
We got John
We
Travolta.
got some callers. We got Nick
Carter
Cage and Tron.
Green.
We got Tron.
Yeah.
We had Nick Travolta
Hey, I got
and
one
John
thing to say.
John Cage.
Hey, capitalist America, suck my dick.
Here's what I have some wise words I have to say. I wrote this down.
Anyone else? Capitalist America.
Why don't you suck my tongue?
I want you to suck my
my
tongue.
Your
tongue.
favorite peach.
She did it willingly.
She did it.
Here's my. Here's my.
Like, ew. And
Here's
she
went heavily into the undercover. We'll talk about that later. Here's my advice
she
for the
was into
day.
it.
Dress up like Halloween and ghouls will try and get in your pants. Some wise words,
Yo,
right?
for real though. Think about it.
Okay, are we getting right into it? Are we gonna talk about Face
Let's
Off?
talk about some Face
That was
Off.
a Face Off. So
John's
I recommend this movie. Face Off. We got John Woo, the Woo Man, Wu Tang.
Woo hat. I'm a real Woo hat. I've seen one of his movies.
I
and
had
that was Face Off.
Bullet in the Head and Hard
Hard
Boiled
Boiled
have been on my list for a minute. And Mission Impossible 2, an all-time great, all-time classic action movie. I'm not even joking. You think I'm joking?
Alright.
I'm so serious.
You've seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
They fucking joust on motorcycles. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know, it's cool.
Speaking of
say
face,
anything.
this was like the prelude to the face bullshit that happens in Mission Impossible. The insane face swapping Philip
Nonsense.
Seymour Hoffman.
I don't know.
Yeah, Face Off, John Woo.
Yeah, what is this?
We got
movie about?
Travolta, we got Cage.
We got two of the greats.
two of the all-time greats.
all-time
and
great meme actors.
just as they say, they swap faces. They've been
It's a
any
Face Off.
So
I want
let me
to
set
take his
this.
face off.
Let me
They
set
do-
the
they do say-
face off. His face. I wrote this down. We'll talk about this later. But let me set the stage. We got Travolta. He's on the merry-go-round
Sean Asher.
with his son, Astor.
Astor?
It's a beautiful scene.
His son.
so fucking weird.
The color grading. It's very grayed out. We had, for some reason, we got Nick Cage, a worldwide terrorist,
He's like sucking on a
Aiming-
soda.
sucking his soda. He's got his gun
He
pointed.
has a mustache.
He's
the
like,
most ridiculous
I'm
mustache.
gonna kill.
too.
I'm just trying to kill Travolta. Takes a shot. Goes through Travolta. What do you know? Hits his son.
It's his boy Mike.
Sad. His boy. He wears that scar. Fast forward. These two have been at each other's throats for years. It's been a
Literally.
duel of two of
They've
the
been at each
greatest
other's
minds.
faces.
Yeah, it's a battle of the minds.
And
Battle of the faces.
Travolta wins. He wins. He finally.
Spoiler
He finally
alert.
wait, this is the beginning. He finally takes him
Oh,
down.
okay.
He finally takes the Cage Man down, brings him in, but there's a twist.
Alas.
A bomb has been planted somewhere.
There is a bomb in Centennial
There's a
Park.
say it again. There's a bomb in Centennial
There's a
Park.
bomb.
This is a Richard Jewell
That
prequel.
fucking preview was on.
Yeah.
I got that YouTube ad so many
Yeah.
times,
Everyone did.
but.
Just say it again.
But so yeah, they gotta somehow. Cage is dead. He's dead. Apparently, he's dead. He's in a coma. You're keeping him alive.
You can't kill Cage.
You're keeping him alive.
You can't kill Cage. Cage kills you.
You're keeping him alive. But
Travolta with an all-time great performance.
dude, we're gonna get. Trust me. That's one of my
Okay.
talking points. Cause we got but I'm just trying to get through the plot of this as a task. So the only way to get this information from Cage is brother. We're gonna refer to them as Cage, and I have their names.
Okay.
Their names
Yeah.
are
It's-
fucking ridiculous. Sean Archer and something Castor.
I'm Castor Troy!
Castor.
Castor Troy!
Castor Why? I wish we watched this one together.
Okay,
Um,
Nick Cage's face.
We'll get there.
Oh,
This is a movie about faces.
oh my god.
So the only way for John Travolta's character to extract this information. For some reason, this is the only way they could think of. Was to surgically remove Nick Cage's face.
There's
Surgically
no other
remove.
way to infiltrate.
And also, for some reason, they didn't think to put a man in the inside in the jail that could
Yeah.
get him out. They're like,
or any way of identifying himself. He's just trapped.
so.
No, there's so many ways, but they never bring
yeah.
them up.
So obviously, Travolta goes in with, he puts on the cage mask. He slips deeper and deeper into the cage.
Persona.
And this is where
Does he?
this movie shines
No.
because it gets into actors playing other actors trying to.
It's like adaptation.
It's actors. I wrote this down because it's a lot to keep track of.
I don't know about you.
It's an
I
actor.
described this film to my dad from start to finish, and it was one of the most I could see the gears turning in
It's
his head,
confusing,
trying to remember. No, you can keep up with it if you watch it, but like being like, okay, so Nick Cage is John Travolta, but
Because it gets
John
into like,
Travolta is
especially
fighting
when he's
Nick
in,
Cage,
especially when it's
who's-
in the jail. It's Travolta trying to play. It's Cage trying to play Travolta, who's trying to play as himself.
Nick Cage's
So it's like a
character.
triple
Here's what I think,
crazy
yeah.
thing.
It seemed like they just hated each other, and it's like, I'm gonna play up the most fucking hammed up version of your dumbass.
So
I
he gets
can.
into the jail, and then of course Nick Cage wakes up, takes his face, and
Yes.
resumes his life. So
which is one of
there's
my
a-
favorite things of all time. Is Nick
So-
Cage being John Travolta makes me so happy.
You guys maybe have been giving this away. How did you feel about this movie?
This is the most fucking amazing movie.
This is maybe the
ever.
greatest action. This is
This-
one of the greatest action movies ever
this
made.
might be the movie that makes me the happiest in life.
Ho-
This is
Fucking Nick watched it before us. I wanted to watch this together. It would have been the greatest experience of
Sorry.
a lifetime.
This
Can
is-
we watch this again?
This
Yeah, I'm
like
down.
is my favorite thing ever. This is
It's
such a
because what
glorious
happens here is you
experience.
take John Woo, who's known for his over-the-top fucking ridiculous action movie bullshit, because he leans into it, the slow-mo and all the color grading bullshit
Yeah.
that comes with it, and they let him do whatever the fuck he want. They let him get the two most
with
ridiculous.
with like a $500 million.
They let him
budget.
get-
It's insane.
They let him get the most obvious. He plucked the two most ridiculous actors he could find and just let them do their fucking thing, and it's absolutely incredible to watch.
Batshit crazy plot too.
Because they
which
let
you
him
can
do whatever.
follow,
There
but-
is no studio interaction with it. They just let him do whatever the fuck they
Yeah,
want.
the idea that this movie exists
Is
and
incredible. It's
was released worldwide in theaters.
Imagine
is
watching this
insane
in
to
fucking
me.
theaters.
there were moments where I literally wanted to, I was sitting over there in bed watching this, I wanted to fucking cheer. There's some moments I
Oh, yeah,
literally
when-
felt like cheering.
When
I was laughing so
I
hard.
laughed-
when real Travolta drives the speedboat through
Nick
another
Cage!
boat.
Nick Cage jet ski.
Yeah.
He's on his feet.
Nick, what did you think?
I thought it was so dumb. I had a fucking blast.
It's so there.
No, but it's not just that though. It's the
It's not
perfect
just.
combination.
It's not just. It's. I don't want to call this so bad. It's good because I think it's actually good.
John Woo
I don't
is
know.
an actually talented filmmaker.
And I think this is
There's
actually
a lot of
based
scenes
off of
where I was
what
like,
I've seen
what the
from this
fuck
film.
are you going for?
and. But he
it's a
throws
perfect-
so
it
much
works
at the
so
wall.
well.
He throws so much at the wall, and
Can we
most of
talk
it
about-
sticks.
I think a lot of the action works really.
Can we
really
talk about
well.
the scene where you can literally see the wire pulling the
Yeah,
guy
I saw it
back?
too. I don't fucking care. I don't want to get into nitpicky bullshit
Yeah,
like that.
but
with
it's
this
like
movie.
it's the perfect mix.
There's
of
so much of like
campy nonsense
sliding and flipping and
Yeah, watch.
It's
What other
fucking
movie you see
Nick
Nick
Cage.
Cage do backflips to dodge Uzi bullets, Nick?
The scene I cheered
Fucking no.
the fucking mirror scene where they're pointing in the mirror.
Yeah.
They see this. I literally cheered in my bed.
And they both dodge bullets.
Somehow.
They both dodge bullets.
I like when he.
Isn't this religious? That fucking opening scene where he like goes up to the girl like.
I think it's.
Hold up. The line reading where Travolta he first comes in as Cage as Travolta comes into the office. Let me find.
This is one of those movies I want to quote, like watch 20 times and then quote in its entirety.
He says-
because there's so many quotable lines from this movie.
There's so many like one-off like line
Yeah.
reads from like rant one-off, like the line where it's like when that one house is getting raided and the guy's like, "Damn, this place is getting fucked up." Like some one-off character, like you don't even know who the hell this is. And the fact that they put the fucking headphones over the kid, like that's gonna stop anything.
Dude, he almost gets shot 80 times.
It's amazing. And
The guy who gets shot at the neck and just walks in like, I gotta
So-
go.
just go watch. It's Nick Cage and John Travolta pretending to be each other.
There's so much slow motion in this movie.
It's fucking insane.
The fucking with the pocket knife where he's showing off the daughter, the slow-mo pocket knife.
Okay.
Everything with the daughter is funny because they make her into the most, like, the alternative.
I love the fact that at the end,
She becomes normal. She was normal.
her
again.
happy ending is she's a normal teenager.
It's so fun. It's so fucking
It's so
stupid.
technically wrong, but it's amazing.
That and like
to see.
him like asking if his daughter's like ripe and like
Also he literally brings a replacement child into the family.
Oh my God.
there's a
yeah.
point in which
Which
Nick
I love
Cage
that so
Nick
much.
Cage
You know what room to put him in.
Nick Cage Nick
I
Cage
think we're gonna have a spare room.
Nick
for
Cage
this one.
Nick Cage playing as John Travolta says the line, "This nose, this hair, this ridiculous chin." Just like so
Yeah, made me
like
so happy.
so self-aware of like who they are.
Can we talk about the weirdest thing
So
that John
many-
Travolta does to every fucking kid he sees, where he just this to his face?
What do you mean?
Like any kid he sees, he like
He like
does
with the-
that to
Oh,
their
yeah.
face. It's so
Well,
weird.
John Travolta's-
so like
so
pervy
emotional
in
and
this
he's
movie. Okay.
so funny.
John-
There's so
John
many
Tra-
moments where
John-
his face is like, oh fuck. Like so many like him playing distraught is so
I
funny.
just remember when John Travolta first when John Travolta first became Nick Cage and went to the prison, he was like, I investigated your I worked alongside your brother.
This
So-
okay, I just found the line when he goes in and they're like it's talking to John Travolta, Nick Cage playing John Travolta playing Nick Cage. John Travolta as the bad guy in the FBI office after he's like done his first raid. They're like the president's on the line for you and your wife, and he's like, well, you tell the president to hold, and then he smacks the girl's ass, and then the camera
Yes.
zooms in from the up, and he like does this like moan, and it's so, I like rewatched it like 4 times.
One of my
It's so
favorite
good.
They nail every aspect of this movie. The climax is incredible.
It's
Just
so
when you thought it couldn't get more insane, there's over the top explosions, and then it has the perfect happy ending.
It's
a
the
flawless
kid
movie.
when he pulls the kid off from the side.
Dude, it looks like he's being pulled from fucking heaven.
It's
When they
a-
open that door, it's so overexposed, the background.
And it's just like
Flawless movie.
both of them, they just lean so heavily into the overacting.
Oh yeah.
Travolta just
So many
acts.
memorable moments.
He acts so like when what I think of is when I just need to watch this again because there's literally too much to talk about.
Yeah.
The moment when they're like trying to explain the surgery to him and he's acting so like confused. But
So, what? Big
this
word.
obviously isn't
Yeah.
working as like a visual. This isn't a visual podcast. But, like he's like just. What are you talking about? And like him being distraught, like anytime he's just.
Can
and
we
then,
talk about this scene?
I think my favorite aspect was John Travolta pretending to be Nick Cage.
Yes.
Pretending to be John Travolta.
Can we talk about this?
Because he's so over the top with like, hey baby. He lights
It's
1,000
so-
candles in their house.
Oh my
Can
god.
we just talk about how Nick Cage as John Travolta fucks John Travolta's wife?
Oh my
He
god,
says
yeah!
it's fucked up. Anyone
So
it's
funny.
heavily implied that he wants to fuck his daughter as well.
Oh yeah,
And,
he
like,
was going
He was
for
going.
it.
He was definitely going.
It almost
The scene
worked.
where he
It
beat
almost
the scene
worked.
where they're out in the car and the guy
He fucking judo kicks the window.
the boyfriend instantly
Oh,
goes into
it's so
rape
good.
mode, and then John
Yeah.
Travolta comes out. He sees it. He's like, oh,
Like, in
maybe
cl-
another hoodlum I have to take care
In
of.
clear
Fucking
view of
judo
their-
judo kicks the window and destroys his
Yeah,
kid.
who would go to their girlfriend's house and then decide, okay, now's the
Now
time.
I'm
to
He
gonna
have
rape
even
sex
says,
in their
"My
driveway."
dad's home." He's like, "Care."
It's
So
so
funny.
over the
My favorite scene is definitely when the director guy comes in. He's like, "Frick, I don't think you can do it."
and he kills him.
John Travolta gets him away.
For
He's
no
like,
reason.
"Oh, my heart."
You can just tell
He
he's
dies.
you tell he's like you know what's gonna happen in the
You know he's
moment
gonna
like because they like bring up the hard thing like so over the he's like
When I was watching the movie, I was like, "They just give him a fucking heart attack
And then
with
he
his
fucking-
mind."
he like
He judo
throat
chops him in the back, and then he's like,
covered
"Someone
his
get
mouth.
help."
Probably.
And then he like doesn't even try. He's like, somebody call the ambulance. we have a man down.
Probably in terms of like actually good scenes, the Over the Rainbow scene is, I thought was a great action scene.
Yeah.
But like maybe my favorite. I don't want to say the boat chase because that's the most obvious one, but the
It's
boat
so good.
chase is fucking good as hell.
It's
And
so fucking
the-
insane.
in
When they
addition
crash
to what
through the
makes
police
the
boat
over
and
the
it
rainbow
explodes.
scene so good is that it does have the mirror scene where there's
That mirror scene is one of the most
It's genius.
impeccable.
I fucking love every aspect.
He-
There's nothing.
Just the
I
way
love
it cut,
more
the
than this
abrupt
movie.
cuts to like cuts back and forth to their faces in the mirror.
So good.
Okay, so I do have some talking points. These are more just some
Wait, do you
fun
have any
questions.
complaints? What are some complaints? I don't have any.
It's like obvious,
Not
like
gonna lie.
Oh, it's obvious my complaint, but like,
What's your complaint?
I did see
Just like that,
it's over the top and insane.
That's
Obviously.
what
Exactly.
That's what makes it a perfect movie.
I wouldn't call it perfect.
Fuck, I love it so much. I do think it's like a genuinely good structure-wise.
yeah, it
Like,
never really slows
Consistently
down.
engaging.
No, it doesn't slow down.
It
because
follows
everything's-
all the plot points perfectly.
'Cause so many-
every single element of the film is resolved.
Here's my issue with a lot of like over the top action movies. So many of them have too much downtime.
I agree with that, and I think a lot of movies that go with we're gonna be over the top and campy just go, well, we don't actually have to like focus
Try on
on
the
writing
action.
a good movie,
Yeah.
writing an entertaining movie. Like they don't focus on the structure, so the whole thing feels like a mess, and like it's not that enjoyable.
And it just
to
seems
watch.
like it's
But this
going for the
movie,
so bad it's good
like-
thing, but this-
yeah, every aspect of it is resolved
so-
in a satisfying,
It's so
enjoyable,
and it's just so
hilarious
balls
way.
to the walls. Oh, such an incredible concept.
It's insane that
It's
it's
insane
made.
that it
I don't know how
exists.
it exists.
It's insane that they let him do
How a studio
it.
ever greenlight this, and how they ever got John Travolta and Nick Cage to be like, not only in on it, but like
They're
balls to the wall.
at their absolute best.
Yeah,
They're doing what they do best.
I'm not joking when I say it's like two of my favorite performances of all time.
My-
Yeah,
my
it's,
favorite plot
it's
point-
so funny. It's just
so good.
It's so funny.
Literally, I could not look away from the screen because I thought I would miss some like facial expression
Like,
that would
yeah.
make me laugh. I want to watch it again like
we haven't
right
even
now.
discussed how he sets the bomb for like 2 weeks for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like,
take-
2 weeks.
and that opening like scene where he, with the choir singing, and he got,
Oh, and Nick Cage is dancing. And
Oh,
then-
and
the
he's-
fucking whip
yeah.
move with his head.
oh,
is-
and John Travolta's intro in the church where he's singing in tongues as he walks in. For some reason, he's like, "Isn't it
Yeah,
religious?"
the final shootout's in a church, which is insane.
the fucking Mexican standoff like comes out of nowhere.
the Mexican
It's like Reservoir Dogs.
It's so comical how there's
How
just
her wife died.
There's
I was
more
hoping,
and more
and the
ran-
wife is like badass, like judo kicking people.
There's more
I
and
like
more
how-
random people who are
One of the
alive.
sad facts they never bring up is that Nick Cage's wife dies and still thinks that John Travolta playing Nick Cage
Oh,
is his
yeah, and he took on her kid without
Yeah.
her
Yeah,
knowing.
but it's resolved because she's like, make sure my kid is taken care of, and
He's
then
like,
he
yeah,
does,
sure.
and he gets his own. Kid.
And all
It's
the
a
stuff with the
perfect
kid where
script.
they think that like putting on the headphones and the kid is gonna
So
stop
funny.
anything.
Oh
That whole shoot is awesome too.
Yeah,
Because it's so much like sliding around.
The scene
There's,
before
like,
that,
it's
though,
all practical
where Nick Cage-
explosions.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all
you can
just
see the
sweet.
actual. I love in movies when there's gunshots and you like see things blow up. You see the papers fly.
Yeah.
You see objects move and affected by the bullets. So great.
It's like if
There's random sparks flying everywhere.
if John Wick is like the technical like on a technical level, like look at something like John Wick is like this is like technically
Yeah.
like a fantastic
Or, like,
action
The Raid.
movie.
I would
Yeah.
say The
But this
Raid.
is like
Dread.
this takes this may not be like
Yeah,
as
see Dread.
technically sound as that, but it's
I
like
think it's very technically well done.
It's really technically
in the
done,
action
but it
scenes.
just it's over the top in a way that is just so, it's you can't hate it. You just cannot hate it.
This is a perfect boys' night movie.
It's I wish we
Yeah.
could have watched it together because I would have had such a good time.
We
I
can still
cannot
have a
wait
good
to
time
wa-
watching it
This
together.
needs to be.
I want to watch this like 20 times right
I
now.
want to watch it again. I literally
It's
want to
like
watch it again.
2.5 hours.
I'll
too.
watch.
I
I'll
don't
show.
give a
August is
shit.
gonna love it. I'll
Yeah.
show it to August.
I don't know who wouldn't love it.
Literally, I
If
don't.
you don't love it,
Fuck you.
So okay,
Exactly.
I do have some talking points.
This is the people who don't love it. You can go fuck.
Okay,
yourself.
if you don't
We
like this movie, I'm gonna say this straight up. If you don't like this movie, you do not like movies.
well, if you don't like this movie, I don't want to be your friend or know you.
No, you don't like what.
Or you're
Sorry,
like
buddy.
this-
Have you ever heard of fun?
This is what
Yeah.
movies are all about.
This is what.
This is cinema.
This is why the theaters need to reopen.
On
Movies
it,
like
I
Face
would have
Off.
killed
Face
to
Off,
see
Face
this
Off,
in a
Face
theater. I would have fucking cheered. I would have
Oh,
thrown
yeah.
popcorn at the screen.
If you have a good crowd for Face Off, might be like the most enjoyable experience,
Okay,
theater experience
so-
you'll ever have. Because It's Face Off.
Here's the question. Here's question
I
number
just
one for
like
you
quoting
guys.
it so much.
Who's better, Travolta or Cage?
Cage.
Cage, Travolta amazingly goes toe to toe, which is hard to do
Yeah.
when
It's impressive.
when you have Cage at his wildest.
looking in the mirror.
When you
I
have,
totally forgot about him
looking
looking
in the mirror with the gun.
The gun just like,
when you have
what's
Cage,
the name? I
I
forget
want
the
to take
name.
his face.
His face?
You want to
You're
take
a
his face
fucking
off,
great-
boss?
Nick
face?
Cage
I want to take his face.
impression.
Or him? No, him like drugged looking in the mirror.
It's so fucking. And then he hears his wife and he's like,
His wife.
the fucking smile he gives her.
Both of their faces are just such good faces.
When you have Nick Cage
It's
at
the
his
central
wildest,
part of the
it's
movie.
hard to compete with that.
But, like-
Travolta manages to keep
Oh
I
it,
my
think-
god.
which is incredible.
When he's about to get on the plane, he's like, avoid the road. It's gonna get a little smoggy.
So it's a good impression. Smoggy.
Wait, can you do the suck my tongue, baby?
Baby, I want you to suck my tongue.
You're my
And
favorite peach.
What a great subversion of expectations when she willingly sucks his tongue.
It's just funny that this
in
is
an
a
excited
world in
way.
which Nick Cage is like this ladies' man.
And then he
Yeah,
shoots
and
the
then
girl.
John Travolta's like
Holy
the
shit.
ugly normal man.
John Travolta's face just makes me laugh every time I look at it because it's just so like
John
perfectly
Travolta-
molded.
John Travolta
It's
has
like
some
hilarious. So it's just whenever he does any facial expression, it just
One of
makes
my
me
favorite
laugh.
John Travolta things is like when he learns that Castor Troy, or basically him, has escaped prison. He's like, he's dead? Have you recovered the body? And they're like, no, we haven't recovered the body. He's like, it hasn't been recovered yet!
Yeah, that was the same. Yeah, it was the same with what John was doing with the like. Why would you keep him alive?
You're keeping him alive? You're keeping him alive?
So
Calm down, calm down. And as soon as he sees Nick Cage as his face, I mean, he's like, oh.
And just the fact that whenever like John Travolta comes, like Nick Cage as John Travolta, or whatever, I'm gonna say bad Tron Travolta.
Okay.
When he comes in and literally the whole office gives him a standing ovation.
And he's like standing there with his arms
it's like the
out.
fucking
like
Wolf of Wall
Jesus.
Street.
He's like, hey, sir, wouldn't you surgically get that
Yeah.
ass?
Hey Leo, I want you to see. I want to see performance acting like this.
Or it's like I'm not going anywhere scene.
I'll take a
Wall Street.
Travolta or Cage
My
over
favorite-
Leo any day.
Who,
I just keep
so
thinking
what's
of
like
the
the
best-
modern version of like if they were to
Doesn't exist.
reboot Face Off?
It would suck unless they just did older.
Dude,
John
if they
Travolta
brought
and Nick
Travolta and
If they
Cage
did
back,
Face Off,
holy shit, that would be good.
Face Off 2, John Woo's back.
Travolta and
Travolta and
Cage.
Cage are at it again.
This time they're like grizzled. They've seen some shit.
Oh yeah.
Scars on their
But it would have to be
faces.
like, because Cage died, they'd have to like
Oh.
do some sort of reanimate.
Bitch,
It would
he
have to
comes
be like,
back
The
from the
only
li-
people I could see
It's a clone.
maybe recreating this would be unhinged. I'm saying completely unhinged Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Completely unhinged though. Like not boring. Gone.
We need Total Recall.
What Pitt?
And then
Real Pitt.
Pitt's too good. I think you
He's-
need a
Brad Pitt's-
level of campiness in there.
I'm trying to
I'm trying to think of a good one.
Cruise.
Cruise
Cruise could
is
do
yes.
it. Because Woo is work with.
Cruise
You
is
have to.
also
If you
old.
like this, you gotta watch Mission Impossible
Cruise
2.
is also old.
Oh my God,
So
yeah.
I think if you get Cruise versus Schwarzenegger, that could be a good
maybe
one.
like Owen Wilson. I don't
Also,
know.
one of my favorite lines.
He's not. He's
Owen
not
Wilson.
bald.
Wow! Wow!
That'd be the entire fucking movie.
You look in the mirror. Wow!
There's so many little scenes that made me laugh. I don't know why. Like,
There's too much to talk about.
Oh, I know
Literally-
why.
When he-
You got Cage and Travolta.
when he
Come
first
on.
gets out of prison, he calls he calls him. I don't know why. Like, you'd had an advantage him thinking you're dead. But he's like, I'm gonna call him.
'Cause he's cocky. He's a cock.
He
He's so
is.
cocky. He goes on the news and calls him out. And for some reason, they have the news playing in jail. For some reason, on like a projector in the fucking lunch
Yeah,
hall.
they play
But,
like,
like-
nature.
And
The prison design was super cool.
I don't know why
There's
they
some,
had
to-
metal boots.
there's some commentary on the prison system.
Yeah.
Here. Totally. They had the guy in the electric.
Love it when
That
Nick
fucking-
Cage starts a John Travolta as Nick Cage
His
starts a
whole
prison riot.
his whole
That was
convoluted
awesome.
plan of getting the fucking
Yeah, I just think
cigarettes.
It's so ridiculous.
It's so funny to me that they had no backup.
Yeah, they didn't. All they, could do was
They didn't plan it all in case like a mix-up happened and he couldn't. There was no
one was in on it.
No
And
form
then-
of identification for him.
It's so funny because they
No
do
one
the
in
same
the
thing
prison.
in Mission.
No signal.
They do
could have checked his fingerprints. Nope.
Yeah.
It's so funny because they do the face swap stuff in Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I know they still do that.
They actually do it. Where some of those in Mission Impossible 1 were like the very first one.
Yeah.
Where they like have him set up in the room, like thinking he's a hospital patient. They have like the newscast set up, or no, that's one of the more that's Ghost Protocol, I think. Where they like got like Conan, they got the Wolf Blitzer on.
Yeah, that no.
They have
that's,
Wolf Blitzer. And
that's Fallout.
That's is it?
Yeah.
Oh well, they do a sweet scene where it's like they're trying to extract information
That
from
seems
someone,
great. I love Fallout.
and the audience doesn't know what they're doing, and they like they have like this newscaster play on TV talking about like how the bombing was a success and all that. So they get the guy in the hospital thing that his plan went through, and then it turns out that like they like the walls come down.
The
after they
walls
get
coming down
information,
and like you see everything.
and then you
so
see,
great.
and then like fucking Simon Pegg is
then
at,
fucking-
like Simon Pegg wearing a Wolf Blitzer mask this whole time.
And then the theme kicks in, he's like, bound, down, down. It's so great.
Oh,
I
those
love
title
it.
sequences.
I have
Mission
no
Impossible
idea what you
2.
guys are talking about there.
Anyways, back to Face
Watch
Off.
Mission Impossible.
Another great scene is when he calls them, and he's like, "Hello, this is Sean Astor." He's like, "Well, if you're Sean Astor, I guess." Casper Troy. That's like,
Their names are so fucking.
it's
I'm
so
Castor
ridiculous.
Troy. Well,
I'm
for Sean
Castor
Astor.
Castor Troy.
Castor Troy.
Fucking ridiculous.
Uh,
That's
No.
that.
That's something-
Castor Troy.
Another thing I respect is that they didn't make John Travolta's wife like a supermodel.
no,
No.
she's like a normal.
It's like a
She's a
normal
mom.
housewife woman, like a mother.
Yeah,
it's so
it wasn't-
it's so fu-
That hates her husband.
it's so
and everyone
funny
wants
that
to touch him.
they would have. I totally thought they were gonna do like, oh, he has a fucking supermodel wife
No,
for some reason.
he is a normal.
Everything with a daughter
Even
makes me
Nick
laugh
Cage's,
too.
Nick Cage's girl was like.
Nah, she
normal
was
enough.
more.
She was more supermodel-y, but like they
Who else
both looked
was
like
his
real
brother?
people.
Everything with the daughter made me laugh.
Everything was
How
great.
over the top they tried to make her like this alternative girl.
Yeah, she
and
had,
like,
like,
how
rings all
No.
over her face.
and how her
like, holes
boyfriend
in
is
her
like
nose.
was like he works at
Nose.
Zoomies.
So
and
good.
you know, he's like, oh, wear a face, we wear a mask to hide our trauma, and all she's doing is like wearing different clothes.
Yeah, she has like makeup.
And then
on.
at the end, now she's normal again. It's so fucking.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
the
I completely forgot
happy ending.
about when good Nick Cage, we'll call him good Nick Cage, I guess, first sees like the king. He's like immediately like Michael. Like,
Michael, Michael.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes.
She's
she's like, calm down.
Just
What
think
you
about what
fuck
you were
are you
saying.
doing? We haven't even talked about the airplane going through the fucking hangar.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
the
in the
scenes of a
beginning,
fucking
yeah.
airplane.
We haven't talked
The
about
way
how,
he kills quotation marks him is really cool.
It's
too.
awesome.
how he
So
starts
great.
singing.
And how their plan to stop the jet was to go head first into it into
Yeah.
a car, like that would ever work.
yeah. The plane would just run over the car.
And what made them stop was seeing her in
Yeah,
the.
because remember the other agent was like, "You're playing chicken with an airplane."
And like, yeah, like why are you doing?
No,
this?
he's right. That doesn't make any
And
sense.
John Travolta just
And how the
die.
the engine was busted and the pilot couldn't take off, so he just shot him.
He just
He's like,
Yeah, it's so great when Nick Cage and his brother just jumped out of the plane, shooting.
immediately
It's
like
even, like,
shoots a
forgetting
guy's
anymore.
ear off.
Of course, I'm forgetting.
Oh
Something.
yeah, I forgot they shot his ear off, and they were like 3D printing his ear.
Oh,
back.
another
God, yeah.
funny
That's
thing
cool.
is how
predicted.
they
3D
made
printing.
it completely obvious. They made it completely apparent that like when bad John Travolta takes over all terrorist things, that it's gotten significantly better at the bureau.
Oh my God,
Like he's
yeah.
time
Oh, yeah.
person of these times man of
Yeah,
the
that
year.
was so
Just
funny.
He meets the president.
implying that a terrorist is better at running things
Yeah.
than like the actual
No,
government.
John
is such
Travolta
a
was like making actual good in the world.
I like how his plan just becomes, I'll just become the good guy.
Yeah, and normal Travolta was like a grump at the office.
Yeah,
and
everyone
then-
hated it.
Yeah, and
he's
then-
fucking
and then,
screaming
like,
at them. in the
Bad
first-
Travolta came in, and everyone's like in love with him and happy.
He's like smacking.
They're like, we got
asses.
you something for being a good cop. And
I was like,
Oh,
shut
the
up.
scene where
Travolta's
the one woman's
another day
like
at work.
the one's woman like is like, oh, you must have had surgery or something. He's like, and the music gets
How did
like
you know that?
the music gets so dark, and he's like, how did you know that? And she's like, to remove the stick from up your ass, and he's like,
And everyone's-
he's like, heh. It's just
I mean,
the
oh my
musical
God.
changes in this are so
The
genius.
fucking interrogation
So
scene.
good.
Where John Travolta
He puts a
clearly
gun-
should not be doing
He
interrogation.
says-
He puts a gun in his eye.
He says one thing about his son being
He's
dead,
like-
and he instantly.
He
it's like the
instantly
Dark Knight Joker
my God,
interrogation
yeah.
scene where
It's
he
like-
fucking Travolta kills Joker.
John Travolta's like slinging all this shit at him. He's like, "Hey, how's your dead son?" He's like, "You motherfucker!" And really kicks him over, puts
Yeah,
a
the
gun in
worst.
his eyeball.
Yeah, John Travolta isn't that good of a.
Oh, and the line,
detective.
"The Geneva Convention doesn't exist here,"
Is he a
when he goes to
detective?
the interrogation.
Or just a special agent.
I think he's just a professional asshole.
He's a professional badass.
Oh, and we haven't talked about the fact that Nick Cage throws sulfuric acid
Oh
at two
my
people,
God,
shoots
yeah,
it in
he
midair, and
shoots it.
blows them up in two people's faces, giving them severe chemical. But then he tells his fucking Russian buddy, whose death is so sad for some reason, is so like overhyped and sad for some reason. Who he tells him not to shoot one of the
He's like,
guards
"Don't
after
shoot
he's
them."
like blown sulfuric acid in multiple of their faces.
It's like, Jesus. They were wearing armor, but
This movie
still.
made me so happy.
Yeah, this is exactly
Eyeball
what I
watch
mean.
it.
Alone watching it and smiling to myself.
We gotta watch
I
this together
died laughing
ASAP.
at so many scenes. I like this.
And just the I'm
haven't-
just going
we've
through my
barely
no-
talked. We've just been saying scenes.
I'm going
That's
through my
what you have
notes,
to do with this movie.
and when he first goes to
It's
that like drug den or whatever,
Oh my God, yeah.
and he's like, it's Travolta as Cage, and or whatever. I can't even like.
Good
it's a
Cage.
good Cage. He goes to this like drug den or whatever, and instantly people are like shoving like coke in his face, and
Yeah.
there's like
Here,
girls
take
talking
this
to him,
pill.
and he's like obviously he's like so overwhelmed by it. He's like,
Oh, remember the one girl's like,
I'm your favorite Cage.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought
your
I was your
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
Cage.
and then the other
And he's like,
supermodel pops up.
it's like, oh.
My favorite thing is when he walks away. One of the guys is like, "We're never giving him
Yeah.
drugs again."
No, he's like,
And because he's like
that guy
crawling
doesn't need any
around
more
on the
drugs.
ground.
Ah.
I like how they call it like just drugs, nothing specific.
And they left a gun in that
I'm
kid's.
surprised
The scene where
he willingly took the drug.
Yeah.
fit in.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, but he
scene where the
could've made up
kid
some
picks
dumb
up the
excuse.
scene where
He's
the
like, "I just
kid
got out of jail. I don't
Yeah.
know."
The
scene
I
where
gotta
the
save
kid
my
picks
toes."
Had drugs in a long time.
the scene where the kid
Fucking-
picks up
I'm
the
not gonna
Okay.
down this.
He downs it all too.
Yeah.
that scene where the kid picks up the gun is hilarious too.
Oh my
Because
God.
for some
Oh yeah.
reason they
And then he's like,
leave-
no, no, no.
He's like pointing it at
Don't
his
touch
mom's
that.
face, leaving it with safety. Ugh. Yeah,
Fucking everything. about
whatever. This movie rules.
Perfect
Every
blend of effective action and the most insane story and the most insane performances
I guess
and the
I'll
most
do
insane
something
everything.
here. I'll say I like this movie a lot. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching it, and I would say if you did like it, I would recommend Dread too.
I'd recommend Mission Impossible too.
Yes,
I'd recommend Crank.
Crank is also.
'Cause
one
I
of those
also
ones up
love
there.
Crank.
Crank is great.
But I like
Crank
this
1 and
movie
2?
a lot
Oh, yeah.
more.
Watch the and when he
I'm a Crank 1 fan more so than 2.
remember when he
like
licks.
two,
Remember when he
but-
licks his daughter.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's such a long
I know.
lick. It's such a long lick too.
I like how
From the bottom.
he had
of the
this thing
face
in his
of-
larynx, and barely does he ever do it. Mess with it, so he sounds like
Because
himself
he
again.
shows that if he does mess with it, it does change.
And
a little.
they're honestly good with covering up a lot of like plot holes for
Yeah.
the most part.
That's what
to
I'm
be
saying.
honest,
It's a well-written script.
There's still a
And
bunch of them,
there's
but
stuff-
they do cover up some of them pretty
There's
clever.
stuff where like, yeah, but the plot holes are so obvious it becomes.
It's just funny, yeah.
But like,
Like
it's everything is revealed.
and then it
in
doesn't
such a
matter
way.
because he water skis on his
Some
feet.
of the
Yeah.
dubbing was actually impressive. Like, there's a moment where
Yeah, where it's Travolta's voice
where
over
it's
Cage.
like kind of Travolta and Cage at once. and
Yeah.
it's really cool.
that's,
And both of them are
that's
experiencing
my
that because
idea
they're
for this
larynx.
sequel. They
Or
mix the
whatever is in
DNA
their
of
throat.
Travolta and Cage and make the perfect being.
This makes me want to watch.
And Travolta
You
and
know what
Cage
this
have
makes
to
me
team
wanna
up
watch?
together to kill the Cage Travolta.
You know what this makes me want to watch?
This
What?
one second.
This makes me want to watch Gemini Man.
No, trust me, it's not worth it.
I want to watch Gemini. I don't
No,
care what
Who
you're
made that?
saying.
Oh yeah, Ang Lee.
I
which
want to
is
watch
weird.
Gemini Man.
It's not worth it, trust me.
I want to watch Gemini Man.
It's
I
not
bet
funny.
it will not live up to this.
It doesn't.
I have to. I want to see it. I want to
Because I
see
mean,
it.
Will Smith is kind of like
I'm telling you, no.
like
You
white.
can't
bread.
tell me not to watch a
Nope, you
movie.
can't. Nope.
Fucker.
Will Smith does not have the charisma
Yeah.
of John Travolta or.
Yeah, if it was John Travolta, Gemini
Oh my
Man,
God.
holy mother
Oh,
of
better
God.
than that. Nick Cage,
How
Gemini
about,
Man.
how about Plan B?
A younger me.
How about Plan B? We just try and kill each other again.
You didn't like Gemini Man?
No, I thought it was
Plan B, we just try and kill
We
each other.
saw Jexy instead of Gemini Man.
I pulled that.
Listen,
Just
young
the
man.
I was looking through my
You're
wallet. I was looking through my wallet and I found the Jexy stub.
I saw
Brought
that
back
the
good-
worst movie I've ever seen. And the best movie we've ever seen. Face Off.
All right.
You
I
guys-
love Face
dude,
Off
dude.
so much.
Are we doing scores?
Okay. Oh, I had one more question.
One more
I have to
thing.
get through
I don't even
my
know how to
my
score this one,
talking
if I'm being
points.
honest.
Oh, I do. Which face would you rather have?
Nick
John
Cage.
Travolta. Nick Cage is so
I want.
expressive.
I'm taking Cage because
You know, I'm taking
Travolta's is
Cage,
just
too.
too. It's
It's-
too morphed
Both are
perfectly
hilarious to
morphed.
look at,
It's so.
Both are hilarious.
Here's a better question. Who would you rather have on your team for a fight, Cage or Travolta?
Cage has that wild energy.
Cage.
though.
They even make it. They make it aware that Travolta's got the the love handles. He's not in perfect
well, fat
physical.
ass.
He's not in perfect
Cage
physical
has
condition.
that insane,
Bod.
wild mentality where he'll
Who won,
kill
though?
anyone or anything. in
Who
his way.
won?
Who won though?
Well, John Travolta had love on his side.
Well, Cage fucked his wife.
Also,
so.
John Travolta won in Nick Cage's body.
So Cage.
So
I was
technically Cage won.
I was boning
Yeah.
your wife.
That was my favorite
Sorry, I
thing.
hit the
Cage
mic,
killed
sorry.
Travolta. That was what I was really happy.
Die.
Yeah, the final scene with the harpoon.
Carves his trying
Oh
to carve
yeah,
his
he's like,
face.
you can't have my face now, and he cuts it out like a perfect outline.
Yeah,
of
I
his
thought he was
face.
gonna perfectly cut it out. Be like, you just have it.
Yeah, I thought because the logical thing would like mess up the face permanently. but
Yeah, just
instead
like
he's-
fucking stab in the
Yeah,
middle. Of
he's cutting an outline, which literally just helps Nick Cage. What is happening?
Oh.
Anyways, are we ready for scores?
Yeah, I guess.
Are you ready? You got any more talking points? Nick, what's your score, bro?
Oh, why me first? I don't know.
I'll go first.
I'll let John go first.
9.
9?
10.
No way.
What?
10. I'm dropping a 10 on this.
Now you make me want to drop a 10.
My favorite action movie.
10.
10.
I'm giving it an 8.
I was
10.
watching it, and the whole time I was like, I think I'm gonna be really high on this movie. And then the speedboat climax happened, and I was like, this is a 10.
I was like-
this is a perfect action.
Listen, I wanted to do it, but I was like,
If I'm being honest, this discussion made me like it more.
good.
I'm giving it a 10, and
You know
I'm
what?
unabashedly giving it a 10.
You know what?
It's not an ironic 10, it's a 10.
I don't want to. I felt guilty about giving a 10. I don't anymore.
Don't feel shame.
I
It's
don't-
Face Off.
I was worried.
I've had a 10
My
prepared.
greatest fear was coming in here and you guys like shitting on it. I would have actually
No.
I would have like cried the entire time, and I had to like reevaluate our friendship.
No, it's amazing.
Alright,
10.
It's a 10.
Yes.
I'm at an 8.
Like, might be my favorite thing we've watched.
I genuinely think it's like maybe like the greatest action movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's my favorite action, easily.
I don't.
There's nothing.
I disagree.
I
with
want to
that.
watch Hard Boiled immediately.
There's nothing.
I want to watch Hard Boiled immediately because I've heard
People have
people
said that's his master.
people even say that's better.
I'd much rather watch Dread over this again. if I'm
Oh
being
my
honest.
god, we got a real dreadhead.
Oh yeah, I fucking love Dread.
What a buzzkill we're here.
Yeah,
man.
jeez. Now, Face Off is no dread.
I could see the wires on one scene.
Whatever.
Fuck you, 10.
Nitpicking and biased. You're wrong.
Whatever.
I came in ready to give it. Even if you guys were like, this movie sucks ass, I was gonna be like, this is the
You
greatest
inspired
thing
me to give
ever.
it a 10.
You inspired me to go higher, so
What were you at originally?
We just
I don't
talked
know.
in the last.
I kept thinking about it.
Don't tell me you were gonna
I
give it
think
a
Nick
low.
was at like a 6 originally.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
probably.
Which is embarrassing.
I had fun, but like it didn't make me ponder anything.
This is
August.
better than Mandy.
August.
No, I like Mandy way more.
you
than
wanna-
this.
You like Mandy more than this? No.
Yes, I do.
Do you want to join
Because I
the
like horror
podcast
more.
instead of Nick? Do you want to?
I'm gonna show
the
him
hell?
Face Off. I was talking to August about Face Off, where Nick Cage and John Travolta switch face. We were gonna watch
Yeah,
it
I'm
together.
sure August would have liked Face
Guys are
Off.
ridiculous.
We watched Mission Impossible 2. It's the same
Alright,
director.
new Nick. August.
Slow mo.
Shitting
longer-
on
You
me.
guys gotta exchange faces. So
The
it can still
longer-
be like we're talking to Nick.
In any cruise film, the longer
You'll
the
never get
hair,
my Nick Cage
the
impression,
longer,
cocksuckers.
the longer the
That
hair,
was
the
a
better
great
the film.
impression.
Thank you.
When it comes to cruise,
Because my name's Nick.
you gotta watch Mission Impossible 2.
I can't
I
believe
showed
you're
you.
shitting on me for liking Mandy more than this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch Mandy.
I would shit on anyone for liking anything more than this.
Mandy's at like a 9.5 for me.
You got Mandy at 10?
Yeah, almost. Because I love Mandy.
Yeah, but I love Face Off.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Answer me this. Does Nick Cage switch faces with John Travolta in
Are you gonna bring up some stupid
Nobody
shit about...
squish faces.
Oh,
Oh,
some
it
stupid
looks
shit about-
pretty, blah blah blah. Artsy,
Here's what I'm saying.
fartsy crap.
Mandy just is trying way too hard to be a cult classic.
Yeah, exactly.
This
I think-
isn't trying... This is just doing whatever the fuck it wants.
Yeah, this is. Again, it's John Travolta switching faces with Nick Cage. I mean, I don't think there's anything better than
10 out of 10 concept, 10 out of 10 execution.
Okay.
that. I agree.
Alright, do we want to move on to the next movie?
Welcome to the Woo fan club.
I know. I'm so
Wu
excited
Train.
to watch the rest
Woo-hoo!
of his movies.
I'll say this movie
All I
made
know
me
is
woo.
that the poster
I cheered.
of Hard Boiled is like
I did
a
too.
guy
Him with a
shooting
baby.
guns with a baby strapped to his
Yeah.
chest, which
Hardboiled,
sounds
I've
amazing.
been wanting to watch Hardboiled.
Okay.
Bullet in the Head is supposed to be really good.
Speaking of,
That is Tony...
Another
Moon-
Speaking
Face.
of Face Off. Oh
Yeah,
wait.
you-
Speaking of Face Off.
Another face...
Oh my God,
thematic
yeah.
elements. here.
Yeah, and then our last film.
Freddy
Got Fingered.
alright.
Anywho, we're gonna have to do a bit of a tonal shift
Yeah,
here.
Let's take a breath.
Get back.
Definitely gonna... Yeah.
I mean, I think the face of another could
Hang
have
on,
been
can I
improved
just-
if Nick or John Cage. I mean, or Nick.
Nick or John Cage.
That'd be a totally different movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Could be
Face
better.
Off is the face of another. The face of Cage, and
Yeah.
I'll
No,
leave-
they're very similar.
listen,
movies.
you can draw parallels.
I'll leave
Plot-wise.
us off with this.
No, tonally, it takes
Oh,
a little
Caster
different. Takes a different approach to.
Damn.
Identity
Yeah.
crisis.
Alright.
Face of another. Not a complicated movie. You could probably sum it
It
up
isn't
in
and isn't.
2 or 3.
It is and isn't. You're right.
Yeah. Plot wise, it's not a complicated movie. Man gets his face disfigured.
Jesus, because I already
Yeah,
eager to
this
talk
guy-
about this.
I'm in the
I know,
middle.
I'm very eager.
Direct-
I feel like we're talking
directed-
about Mandy over
Fuck,
here.
I didn't look up who directed it. I don't have data, so someone pull it up.
This guy.
It's
It's a complicated Japanese name, I believe.
I got it. Keep talking about it.
This is a good. this is
Keep
good
talking about
audio.
it. Keep talking about it.
Yeah, it's a man gets his
Hiroshi Teshigahara.
Yeah, exactly.
Teshigahara.
Hiroshi. It's just pretty simple story about a man who gets his face disfigured. He wants to. He's very whiny about it, and then he wants to basically get a new face, face on,
Face? Oh,
and so he selects
face?
He selects a random
You wanna
person
take his
who he
face
likes
off?
his like skin tone and his pores or whatever, and
And it was
gets that
someone
face
who needed
surgically
money.
attached to him as a mask, and
Sound familiar?
he tries to seduce his own wife in the mask of another person, which is like maybe the worst thing you could do if you got a new face. But
Yeah.
I mean,
They explain it.
rape. You could rape, which would be worse.
Which he tries.
He does try at the end. Anyways, and then there's a little subplot about disfigured woman who
That-
lives with
I'm excited
her
to talk-
brother
I wanna talk about
and helps out at the insane asylum.
Which it's implied that the disfigurement came from the Nagasaki.
Yep.
Nagasaki bomb.
in
fascinating subplot.
the
Yes.
original, when she's walking through the town, I don't know if you caught this, but it's Hitler's speech.
Yes, I did catch that.
Oh, I
it was
didn't know
very
that.
interesting.
That's very cool.
I
Yes.
thought it sounded like him, and I looked it up, and it was.
All right, are we gonna talk about
Which
this?
obviously puts even more into the idea of how Japan faced an identity crisis after World War II.
Are you ready to talk about this?
Yeah.
Nick seems very excited, so
I'm
very
take
excited.
the floor.
Still finishing it.
I'm feeling.
Are you kidding me? What else is there talking about?
Essentially,
Let him talk. Let the
that's-
man speak.
That's it. It's-
Frothing at the mouth.
it's more of a film where they discuss the moral quandary of getting a new face, what it means to lose your face, and essentially how we treat disfigured people as a whole, and how we all put on makeup in a way in
mask,
society.
in a
We all wear a mask in society, and this is mostly represented.
It's
in
an exploration.
The final scene of the film.
Is an exploration of like human
Or
nature and
the climax.
human nature and the nature of identity. And okay, Nick, take it away.
This is my face-off. I love this movie.
What?
and
Yeah,
I
Nick's gonna give this
fucking
movie.
adore
I
it.
could tell immediately.
Yeah, 'cause
Holy
Even
shit, this
itching-
movie blew me away, and I adored it.
Yeah.
It is.
Everything from the special effects, the performances, the talking scenes were so intriguing to me that it dragged me in.
I know why you liked it.
There's so much imagery that just stuck in my head immediately.
Nick's a Lynch head.
One of the
reminded me of
scenes.
some
There's a
Lynch.
few Lynchian.
Yes, it's very
Have you
Lynchian
seen
too.
Elephant Man? That's the one it's most like. Is Elephant
I
I
Man.
haven't
pick
seen
up that.
Elephant Man actually, so.
Elephant Man is
It's very
very clearly
especially
inspired by this
especially
movie.
the girl with the burnt face.
Oh my god.
The scenes felt very dreamlike and very Lynchian to me.
It's
very very
That
clearly
and
inspired a lot of
obviously
Lynch.
that
Yes,
and
and that's
that
why
and
I love it.
obviously
That's editing choices,
that and
too.
obviously the doctor's office, which progressively got weirder and
It
weirder.
was
as
so
time.
cool. The
cool,
set
yeah.
design is
With
amazing
the
in this
fucking
movie.
the door opens and the seaweed hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
so
was
very
interesting.
awesome.
So yeah,
Okay,
what did
Nick,
you guys
keep,
think?
Nick, keep talking.
Easily one of my favorite shots at the end is when they walk into the crowd with the people with the masks on.
Yeah.
That's such an
That's how you do creepy face makeup.
It's like-
Scene.
bone chilling. And also, I have one thing to say that's completely uninvolved, but this reminded me of an episode of Goosebumps, the Haunted Mask episode. Does anyone remember
like
that?
a baby show. Reminding me of a little baby show.
Cocksucker.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, basically just because the mask changes him in very subtle ways, and they discuss this, and it's extremely interesting. And that's the same thing that happens in Goosebumps, and it just brought me to that nostalgic moment. So maybe that's why I loved it so much too.
How about you, John?
Anyone else?
I really liked it also. I think this is. I gotta watch it again. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm definitely gonna watch this again.
I think it's a very
You
thematically
think
dense. I think it is.
It's very thematically dense,
I think there's a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I think so,
I think
too,
there's a
but-
lot going on. Like a lot of. I think the stuff that interests me the most, to be honest, is the stuff that with the girl with the burned face.
Yeah, that was
and-
very-
Yes, that was
because
for
I
me,
think
too,
the
think
idea
that-
I just watched Godzilla, which I think handles post World War II Japanese, like a very specific feeling that country had
Yeah.
around that, and that tackles more of, I think Godzilla is more of about like a grieving sort of thing, cathartic thing, and this is more.
And then America went and remade it.
Yeah. But this deals. I think there's lots of lot of interesting stuff going on with like Japanese identity post atomic bomb, and I think that's the stuff I really want to explore further. I think I need to watch again. Obviously, I think the stuff regarding identity and how important faces are to how we treat each other is really interesting. It's just something I understand what it's going for. I just want to watch it again to like really get the whole experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I want to read. I watched this a little bit ago. Like this isn't as fresh for me.
Yeah, I watched it last night, so it's fresh for me. Yeah, I loved it too. I thought it was fantastic.
Like the quote. There's a quote I wrote down.
The-
So there's actually a lot of quotes I wrote down.
I would
Look-
say that it, like, if I had to name a problem with it, it does a lot of the talks between like his doctor and him. They're just kind of like openly discussing the themes of the movie.
Yeah, which I don't
I'm
always
not-
hate.
That's fine
I don't
with
ha-
me because
I-
they're
I
both.
don't mind it in the movie because this
It's
is a very
really
philosophical
interesting
movie,
philosophical
and like
debate.
their debates are interesting. Just it's not
It-
my favorite thing when movies do that.
It never
but
took me out.
It didn't bother me too much in this movie, and I still thought it was it.
It always interested me.
Excellent
It always
movie.
seemed in service
Yeah,
of what it was going
Excellent
for.
movie.
I love the intro. How intimate it felt. Do you
Yeah.
guys know what I'm talking about? How it starts very
Yes.
like the hands in the water and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it gives you very close ups of faces without showing you the
Intimate,
whole
detached.
face.
It's one of those few movies from the first frame I was hooked. Like
It's
it draws you in immediately.
it's a fascinating movie.
It is.
It's just a lot of like philosophical stuff I'm having trouble kind of conveying, like how to talk about it. Like let me just read.
What year was this movie?
I'll read some quotes.
1960?
60 something, I think.
66.
I gotta say,
66.
this
Um,
feels pretty. I don't know. boundary pushing.
Yeah,
Fine.
extremely.
Stuff-
When
Especially
there
for
was
the
nudity in
time.
this movie, I was shocked.
Yeah.
It seems like a very progressive and very. I don't know. I can see this movie being very controversial, especially the
Yeah.
themes about
Accepting.
the atomic bomb
Yeah.
and just general trauma.
There's also a theme of just accepting people for who they are. Like, no matter,
Yeah.
like, things that are out of their control, accepting them for that.
The whole movie's kind of obvious, but I think that's why it works so
It's
well.
some yeah.
It's like
It's
whole
subtle.
idea
It's
of-
subtle yet it's somehow like
Yeah.
subtle and unsubtle at the same time.
yeah, the
I don't know
whole
if that
idea
makes
of
sense.
like, oh, we all wear masks, we're all wearing makeup, is not like a subtle idea, and it
Yeah.
can be a very cliched idea. But this movie addresses that in a very
interesting way.
nuanced and
I think
just
the
a fascinating way, in a way that's very different than I feel like a lot of movies approach that idea.
I think the way it talks
it's not as obvious as it seems.
the way it talks
Yeah.
about like about how like in the beginning I'd say the Doctor viewed a world in which like it views it takes on like the dangers of masks and how the Doctor in the beginning is talking about how
Wait, masks?
oh uh-oh.
This
But-
is topical.
But how the Doctor wants a world in which everyone kind of can do this facial thing and change
Yeah.
their, and then by the end is realizing that like, yes, you may be quote unquote free in a free world, but it's at the cost of all individuality and all empathy, in a way.
Yeah, you're free.
And
but
while no one may be a
there's no
stranger from
reason
you,
to
but
live.
there's no, it's complete, it's just it turns you into literal like walking sacks of flesh as they are in the final scene. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
devoid of any humanity, and it's
probably the most surreal scene in the movie. is
that final shot.
that
Yeah,
final
it's
scene.
there's a lot of like really striking imagery here. But I think the girl
cinematography is
walking out into
very
the
sharp.
the girl walking out into the
ocean
water
sticks in my
is
mind a lot.
beautiful.
Oh yeah, very haunting. Just
It's
to
like
see
eerie.
her head disappear is very haunting and upsetting image.
Yeah, I just think it's
and
just
beautiful in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But maybe that represented her disappearing into a crowd of faceless people. Her whole movie she's struggling with the fact that her face is scarred, but maybe that's what makes her an individual. And
Yeah.
her wanting to get rid of that would be at the cost of sacrificing her individuality.
Yeah, and the idea of like not wanting to lose your scars, like them being simultaneously caused by scars being something caused by something you want to forget, but also something you want to hold on to.
Yeah.
I think it's
definitely.
really interesting. I think there's like another shot I really love. I think this movie deals with like intimacy really well. There's a shot of when he's first seducing his wife and their legs under the table.
Yeah.
I really I loved that. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you haven't seen In the Mood for Love.
No.
Sorry about that.
Reminded me of, in a lot of ways, reminded me of Hiroshima Mon Amour.
I love Hiroshima.
Which is great.
Mon Amour.
I've
It's
never
the
seen
same sort of.
Very similar.
It's the same sort of people trying to deal with their traumas in a place of. Specifically talking about the girl with the burn on her face. People trying to deal with their traumas in a place where it's made impossible to forget.
Yeah.
It's mass trauma. It's not individual trauma, which deals with the themes of individuality versus
Yeah,
group
not to
mentality.
talk about Hiroshima Mon Amour. I love that movie.
Yeah, but they're similar in that the atomic bomb affected so many people in such a wide range of people that when you're in those areas, it's impossible to escape
Yeah.
that feeling of there's such a tremendous loss and
It's overwhelming.
so
And
quickly that there's no escaping it. And really, it's hard to imagine even today those societies moving past that moment in a way where, where you can feel at peace in that area. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying this. That's why I'm saying I want to watch this again because I think it is. It has a very simple premise, but I think it's so like philosophically dense.
Yeah.
You can look at it
Yes.
so many like way you can look at it in terms of like
Yeah, I
individuality.
guess just the way I was. The only reason I was a little surprised he said that was because it is very open on its themes and messaging.
But
Yeah,
I'm just saying
but-
like there's so many different
but
ways.
there is a lot
like
you
you can
can
read
unpeel
it.
here.
Like I definitely picked up hints of like looking at it like a terms of like anxiety and looking at it in terms of like being unable to go into public places without feeling you need to change the way you act. Like obviously
Like that feeling of everyone's eyes on you because
Yeah,
you
just
are
that's
someone
why I
else.
love-
shame over things you can't control.
I love
Yeah.
the bar
Your
scenes,
body
how
and-
surreal they were when all the noise like cuts
All
out
the
and
noise
it's
cutting
just
out was
them,
brilliant.
and then when it comes all back in,
They do the same thing in Hiroshima Mama More. Too.
yeah, I don't rewatch that. Not to
Sorry,
toot,
not-
not
sorry-
to toot
sorry
that
to
horn
keep-
too much.
But yeah, if you liked this, go watch Hiroshima Mama More. Takes
Even,
more of
like,
a romance look.
This may be
Yeah,
like
it's like
out
a
of left
sci-fi
field,
one.
but like almost the idea of like how this guy is like kind of is going back into society with this mask. It kind of reminded me of the ending of Ex Machina,
Kinda.
where she go.
Yeah.
It's like totally not like doesn't really match thematically, but the
I
idea
can
of
see what you
someone,
mean, though.
it's the idea of someone going into society without anyone knowing what they are.
Yeah, it's
I think it's an
scary.
interesting. It's a very
very
chilling
unsettling to
ending,
think about.
especially
like
given
You
how
someone
don't
who
know
can
who you're
easily-
talking to.
You
It's
can easily
chilling.
blend in, but there's something hidden inside that's still much darker.
Yeah, and it's also like we as a people want to blend in with our surroundings. We want to be seen as normal, but in our attempts to do that, we lose what makes
makes us human.
makes us special.
yeah.
And
I
what
think this
makes
is-
us human and makes us interesting. If we all were the same, there'd be no one of note. There'd be no one. There'd be no one who's special, and I think that's what this
Yeah.
movie's message is that individuality is important.
Yeah, I love the idea of individuality really being like something we need, or else what are we?
Yeah,
Really?
we're walking sacks of flesh.
Like,
Sean-
we're just
that
nothing. And I really think, I don't know, I just love the way this movie like tells the story. Everything just perfectly like flows into the next scene, in my opinion. The pacing is
almost
perfect.
dreamlike.
It is very dreamlike, and that
It's more surreal and
yeah. Obviously, I
It
love that
gets
stuff.
it gets increasingly bizarre as you go on, especially in a few.
Yeah.
Especially with like you mentioned before, the hospital and stuff.
Yeah, the hospital is like the what?
The doctor's office.
Oh,
That's what I
doctor's
mean.
office. I don't know why I said immediately followed you. I didn't know what you were talking about.
I'm sorry.
But mob mentality, you see, no individuality, leads to issues.
Yeah, I just think it's a really overall just a really fascinating and excellently like very well done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
perfectly crafted like
Easily-
study of human nature and like the importance of.
Easily one of my new favorites. I definitely want to watch this again, and I'm definitely interested in see what I come out with next time
Very-
I watch it.
Very intelligent, thought-provoking
Yeah.
film.
Pull
I
some,
was gripped throughout the entire movie.
Similar to
if I have
Face
some,
Off.
if I have some quotes, I like the quote, "Masks like this could destroy all human morality."
Yeah, definitely.
I have so many selves I can't even contain them all.
It also took a look. It was interesting, the female perspective on why
Oh,
women
we
wear
haven't even
makeup,
gotten into the
why-
feminist aspect of this
Yeah.
and the wife. I
with
completely.
the wife who basically tries to explain why women more so than men feel the need to wear makeup, feel the need to kind of disguise
Yeah.
themselves.
And he
I
just
think it's
not.
very
He just
interesting.
doesn't.
And
He just doesn't
it says
get
a
it,
lot
'cause-
about like feminine elusivity and like
Yeah.
how I feel like it's kind of saying like women tend to be more elusive and
Yeah.
have been culturally
They've been culturally like
incentivized to be
They are
to
forced.
be hitting to
They
be
they're
yeah,
forced to
to
have
be
a
more-
mask.
yeah to be
introverted.
yeah to to not be outgoing, to not be
Because you have to stay to yourself.
individualistic. I don't want to keep saying that,
But it's
that's
just
the best word.
The best word to come out with when watching this movie is individualistic, because
Yeah.
that's what it tackles a lot, and I think it tackles it brilliantly.
It's especially addressed with like women who are different, are seen as gross, are seen
Yeah.
as monsters,
Like-
who stand out from the crowd. Like
One of
and
the
that's
best scenes
it's very obvious with the
is
woman
when
with the scar.
She gets the
who-
ball.
Who is constantly being called a monster.
First
And
she's getting
she's a
catcalled
beautiful-
until they
she
see the
gets
scar,
catcalled,
and
she's
She's
then
a beautiful woman until you realize, oh, there's something unique about her. There's something, a deformity, quotation marks, and then
she's
it's
pushed
like,
to her brother because she's the only one that's shown him true love.
like, really, is she less beautiful because she has this scar on the side of her
Exactly,
face?
like it just shows that we tend to look at something different as something wrong because that's what we're taught. We're taught to kind of blend into a mob and not to go Joker, but in this society,
No.
we kind of just have to like stick
You
to
get
each
when
other.
you cross a man with a
Can I just say
mask.
Joker did this better?
You get when you cross a man with a mask with a society where no one wears masks. Get what you fucking deserve.
Talk about a movie that is, like, my opinion of it has dwindled
Yeah, me too.
every waking day.
Yeah, me too. A little bit. Still like
That
it.
is
but-
the epitome of obvious.
Yeah, that's way
It's
too obvious.
Joker.
It's like obvious without the film.
If I watch it
Society.
again, I feel like I'd give it a much more negative score.
Me too. I watched it
But
a second
I also
time.
like have no incentive to watch it again.
I think it's like perfectly like it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's
know
just
it's
I
just
think
like-
the fan base of people who like
Oh my
praise it
God.
as this like amazing. Oh my god. Like when it's just been just doing what Scorsese's been doing for fucking 40 years.
King of Comedy, lots
yeah,
of
I
them.
know it
Or
feels
even
like
Taxi Driver.
it feels like
Taxi Driver too. King of Comedy.
King of Comedy more so probably.
Yeah.
Kim Kaidi's like it's like the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's like it's like gatekeeping or whatever to be like Joker's like entry level movies, but it
You
kind
get
of
to that review. That's
it kind
like,
of is. It feels like a movie made for people who never watch never watch character studies or dramas before.
God, if it won the Oscar, I
And
would
then-
fucking cried.
And then they finally watch. It's like for superhero bros who finally watch a drama and are like,
Wait, they put the Joker in a
Whoa.
serious movie?
I don't know. I
Anyway,
know it's like rude or
would you
like
agree with
like
the review that says,
oversimplification of the fans.
you
but
know,
like,
you never know how deep a pool is until you swim in the ocean.
oh yeah, the worst, the most obnoxious
Amen.
review.
Hey, they got a point.
They got a point, but it's so
Like
pretentious.
I somewhat agree with them, but if you say that, you sound like the biggest asshole ever.
Joker wears a mask.
I guess.
Joker in face of another. Whenever you do the Joker thing with you pull your mouth back, I think of the scene in Salo. where
Oh
the
my
guy's
god.
eating the shit, and then he's like, "It's funny if you do this," and then he pulls it back, and he's.
Salo's one of the best comedies ever made.
Salo is funny. Unpopular opinion, but
It's hilarious.
Salo is a really.
I
funny
watched that movie by myself.
So did I.
Yeah.
Gordon
I
was
never
the only
felt
No,
one.
like-
I watched it with a group of.
I think it's
five
like a genuinely great comedy.
It was like, damn it, I can't jerk off.
It was so weird. I came in and expecting this like this depraved, fucked up
movie's
movie,
so
but I was like,
fucked.
oh, this is like a fun. This is a comedy satire.
I didn't
No,
ex-
it's totally set up.
I didn't
Read the
expect-
book. If you ever watch Salo, if you get the Criterion audience, read the book. It made me have a much greater appreciation for it.
I just hate when movies get boiled down to like this movie's depraved. Like
Yeah, they do the
it's
same
the
shit with
irreversible. It's like the
Antichrist, they do the same shit with
Antichrist,
irreversible,
Irreversible, all those.
martyrs.
Yeah.
It's all. This is the most fucked up. When with literally like Antichrist and martyrs, and Salo, if you going expecting that, you're gonna be bored out of your mind.
Because there's much more to it.
It was
than
deeper
that.
than even irreversible. Like
but,
irreversible is
like-
obviously like beyond.
If you want like torture, it's so depraved, go watch like fucking the Saw movies or something.
Yeah,
Go watch
one's-
Human
one's
If you
Centipede.
want
Alright.
a good comedy, watch the Saw
Really?
movies.
When we
What?
finish,
If you want a good comedy, watch the
Saw
Saw
Book of
movies.
Spiral coming soon to a theater
Oh my
near you.
god.
Book of Sauce Spiral book.
Yeah.
The Saw.
When's
The
that
good
gonna come?
book
When-
Spiral.
We've all been on the edge of our seat.
All right, Nick, do you have any talking points about the movie?
Yeah, we
No,
stopped
not
talking
that.
about Face of Another like 10 minutes.
I don't know. I said
It's fine.
it's
I
dense.
adore it.
It's a dense movie.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about.
Very smart
But
movie.
I feel like we should end it there.
Yeah.
And
Scores.
scores.
I'm not going. I went first last time.
Nick, I think Nick should go first.
10.
9.
10.
9.
Huh?
9.
Okay.
9. What if I was like 3?
Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
What?
You-
Freddy Got Fingered.
So, Freddy Got Finger Fucked is directed by...
Whoa.
Freddy got
Jeez.
face fucked.
Oh, God. So, Freddy Gets Skull Fucked is directed by Tom Green. And it follows
Fredward.
famous cartoonist and racist Gord.
No, he's not racist. His father's racist.
Oh, yeah.
Is he?
Father
Is that a
ripped
plot
off-
point?
His father was racist.
That might just
No,
be
because he
rip-
said, "Why don't you go sew soccer balls in Pakistan?"
And that's how we get to the final act
He's
of the
just
film.
he's just messing.
And it follows famous cartoonist Gord.
What does Gord do? What's he up to?
It's
What kind of
Well,
shenanigans?
he has multiple jobs. He has
He
to
has
juggle.
multiple jobs. He works at a cheese factory, or cheese sandwich
The
factory.
cheese sandwich factory. And then he works at the submarine shop.
Okay, well, I see we give some background as to why we chose this.
Freddy
of all
Got Fingered.
films.
Because I've always been interested in seeing what the hell Freddy Got Fingered is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
the famed Ebert
There's the
Zero,
famed Zero,
where he
and then-
says, "What's the line? This may one day be
It's a
revered
surrealist
as a surrealist
masterpiece, but it
masterpiece."
will never be funny.
And he's right, it's not funny.
I don't know about that.
I don't.
I don't think it's funny as much as horrific.
I don't think that the movie as a whole is like hilarious, but there are multiple scenes which make me laugh.
This movie's a
incredibly
nightmare.
hard.
This
This
movie's
is a
an
nightmare.
absolute nightmare. There are so.
I always watch the Red Letter Media review of this movie, and I always thought that made the movie look really interesting. So
The scene that I.
it's been kind of like a cultural debate over this movie.
There's a couple scenes
Cultural
that.
debate.
There's a couple scenes that I keep coming back to. They're truly like ingrained in my memory. There's.
I'd say the hospital
Oh wait,
scene.
let's say what we thought of the movie. Well,
I don't know. I
what
really.
what do you think?
I
of it?
genuinely am still not sure.
I think
I've had days to think about this, and
I've had
I'm
days
still
to think.
I've
thinking.
rewatched. I've watched this movie twice in a week,
I've watched it once.
and I'm not sure if I enjoy it, but I will say it's one of the most fascinating
It
and
truly is.
unique experiences I've ever had.
It is. It.
it's
watching
kind of
the
like a
movie.
cautionary tale watching
Of what?
Don't give
it.
people
Don't
money.
give people complete
without-
control. if
He
you don't-
directly references that.
Yeah,
that, like,
that's what
why
I'm
did
saying,
you
it's a
give me
cautionary
as
tale.
much money as you did?
It's like, just
he had a
because
$14 million budget.
It is
for
self.
movie.
This movie is self-aware.
I
in that.
guess.
Yeah, in multiple moments.
But I don't know if Tom Green's not self-aware.
The whole
I do. I
concept
think he
is self-referential, with him wanting to have
Agreed.
this career with these zany, meaningless cartoons. So his show, and the show gets picked up, and then they're like, "Here's $1 million."
It's autobiographical.
Yeah,
See, but where it fails for me is it's just not. It's so insufferable at so many points
Yes.
that it's just like I can't in good conscience like this movie really.
That's the thing I said was like, there's moments where I think the movie is genuinely funny, and then there's other moments.
I don't even know if I can
I don't
say
think
that.
There's
I
other
can't
moments
think of
where I
one.
think the movie's so aggressively unfunny that it has to be intentional.
It's there. Okay,
I would like to think it's intentional, but
there.
I just don't.
Let's
think
let's
it
take a
is.
look at a couple scenes. For one, the
For
scene
one,
I think of.
the
Interrupt me again, and you're off the show.
I think the hospital scene is hilarious.
Yes. Okay,
I
the
think that
hospital
scene is
scene
amazing.
is nightmarish in the way the sounds and things going on in the room just continue to compound on each other in a way that's absolutely
Yeah.
it's overwhelming in a like Lynchian way almost. It's an overwhelming scene.
It gives
Yeah.
me like anxiety.
It's
watching it.
Yeah.
it's a very anxiety
Yeah, and
inducing.
It's like
it's
Uncut
so.
Gems.
It's
I don't
like-
think it's funny though.
It's so
not funny.
No, it becomes funny when the scene stops and then slow, beautiful music starts playing, and he wakes up the baby and delivers it to her, and it's a sweet, beautiful moment.
I don't think I was thinking.
And I
of
thought
it.
that was
I don't think that's a
hilarious.
very. I
I
don't
was
think that's
thinking,
like the
what
most.
the hell
I don't
is
think it's a really
happening?
clever. I wouldn't say it's a very clever. It's a very.
I
It's
feel
kind
like
of a
I've seen-
I
cliche
would say
joke.
it wouldn't be clever if what came before it wasn't the most extreme and vulgar thing in the whole movie.
I know, but I
That's
almost
like-
if I almost wish it went like even it continued to escalate in some way.
Looking
like,
at the
like if like a
gross-out
plane
comedies
if like a
of the time.
plane crashed into the hospital, I think that would have been hilarious.
Looking at like the gross out comedies of the time, I mean, they went from oh this is so gross to like sweet moments.
That's what I'm saying. I
This
don't
is
think
just,
that's
like,
a
the most extreme
I don't think
version.
it's a necessarily like clever joke.
Yeah, I guess, but like
So for me, there's that scene that's nightmarish, and there's that contraption he creates when he's drawing.
Would you like some sausages?
It's a truly terrifying contraption, and
It looks like a sock.
it's a pretty cool prop. I will
Yeah.
say. Do we want to get
Yeah.
Do we want to get into like plot stuff here?
don't know,
This
but-
movie
well-
opens on an awesome skateboard, one of the most amazing opening credit sequences I've ever seen. I will say, with the slow motion repeats of tricks.
It follows the plot of Gord leaves his family to set out on his dream.
His
But
family
he-
fakes out buying him a bus ticket.
Yeah,
and
I don't
gets him a
understand
card.
that.
They refuse to allow, like the cartoon place doesn't want. It is a mess.
It
Apparently, it was a much more structured movie before
The structure isn't
he had to remove
problem
a
here.
movie.
Yeah, the structure isn't the issue.
I don't care. It's
Well, like narratively, it's hard to follow. a
yeah,
lot
but
of
I
the
don't.
time.
I don't necessarily. That's not. There's a deeper seated issues here
Oh well,
of
yeah.
just.
Well, the whole point is like there is kind of like the typical structure, except there's random scenes where he'll go jerk off.
That's what I'm saying. I would
horses.
love to like get an interview on this, because here's the thing, if this is totally like a middle finger to this company, who was it who provided him the money? Do you know who was this distributed by?
I'm not sure.
Well-
All I know is that they would do screenings of, according to Tom Green, they did test screenings of this movie, and the part that because like most of his fan base was like teenage boys at the time, and like the part they were all mad about was he had apparently like his uncle was a major character, and his uncle was gay, and they didn't like the fact he was gay.
That would
So then
see. That would have made
the
this movie so much worse.
The
if that scene
studio
was there.
made him cut that out, and apparently that was like key to the story. So
Wait.
then he had to reorganize the whole movie around that not being in the movie.
See, that's sort of
They
it's
saw
like
Tom Green tugging on a horse's cock, and they didn't care about
it's
that.
the time.
but
It's
this-
a time and
It's the
place
time.
thing. It's like
2001.
it's a. I'm
And
sure
he-
one
and he
day
acknowledged that
we'll
like
look-
he does way more vulgar, nasty stuff in that movie.
we'll
than-
come look back at like Filthy Frank videos one day and be like, oh my. Even like now,
Oh, yeah.
Even now,
almost,
people
it's
are
like,
looking back and
whoa,
saying,
this
"What the
was.
fuck?"
But it's like a very, like as kind of terrible some of that stuff is. It was like a very time and place internet culture thing.
But
So,
I
mean,
don't know.
Tom Green was very influential to all of that. Too,
But I don't know
would
any
say.
time where like jerking off horses was just like.
Well, no, it wasn't. But that was like the whole point of the movie was to be as nasty and
But it
ridiculous
comes out
as
of
possible.
nowhere.
That's the whole point.
I don't even think it goes like far enough in the nastiness.
Do you?
I don't know.
When I think of like the really nasty scene, they involve
Well, I
like
guess
animal
we live in an age.
animal nudity, but like
We live in an age of where like the internet exists,
And there's, like, him-
anything-
I guess
it's
him-
like the same thing with like being like, well, I don't think like Salo is that intense anymore. Well, like yeah, we live in an age where we can see literally anything grosser than that on Twitter every day.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think any of like the gross out stuff is necessarily very like impressive.
Yeah,
Like he licks the guy's broken bone, whatever.
that comes
But,
out of
like, I
nowhere
don't-
too. It's like
Everything in this movie comes out of nowhere.
Well,
and none
that's-
of it serves any purpose.
You can
really.
say that's the point, but it still just is like dumb.
If I'm looking at this as a middle finger to these studio execs that gave no forethought into giving this man any
That's
amount of
what
money,
I think the movie is, and that's why I think it's such a fascinating.
it is fascinating. But it's like one
But
of
it's
these things
not
where
good.
I genuinely don't know how to rate this. I think I would watch it again.
I would too.
I
I've
mean,
already
I
seen
think
it twice.
I would watch it
fascinated
again.
by
I would, if I saw it on a DVD at like a Goodwill, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
I also think that the idea that he's taking these like stereotypes from other popular gross out comedies at the time and like twisting them away to make it the audience hate them and to intentionally anger the audience, like what he did with like the little kid being injured.
That's
So that's a
him getting
typical
owned,
thing,
yeah.
and then it will be like, oh, he's injured, haha, he fell on his face, and then he'll come up and there'll be blood all over him.
And then he'll literally get torn to
or
shreds
like his
by an airplane.
teeth are falling out, or he has a black eye in the next scene, and it's like, that's clearly like an FU. And even like his girlfriend who only exists to give blowjobs.
See, that's where things get...
No, but like that's clearly talking about how the female love interests at the time were just completely useless.
Well,
and-
I don't know if you can say that when
Stupid.
she just is a useless.
Well, that's the
The
whole
stuff
point.
coming out with,
And
like,
also
her being-
her
But it's-
being a rocket scientist,
But
but
it's
the
not
only
s-
thing she wants to do is give Tom Green blowjobs is also clearly satire.
I just think that stuff gets muddied, like when you find out that like later on in her life she was like assaulted by she was one of the people assaulted
Yeah.
by Harvey Weinstein. It's like
I
it's
feel
just like
bad for her, but at the same time, I don't know whether she was in on it or not.
so I'm saying I don't know. It's hard to tell. I can't 100% say if this all was intentional or if he just wanted to make this like stupidest movie and like
Yeah.
we're reading into it.
Like, you say it's clearly satire, but there's nothing clever there poking fun at it.
I think there's something clever there. If it
I
is
don't
satire,
No, that's what I'm saying. If it is satire, then there's something there, but I don't know if I can 100% say that it was.
Because it doesn't ever
no,
seem like...
it blurs the line between a smart satire and actually ridiculous idiocracy.
Yeah, I just think
And I think that's
in
what's
general,
so
the
fascinating about the movie.
I just think in general the like it's like I feel like use of satire as like a means of like covering up actual thoughts on things is very like prevalent nowadays in internet
Yeah.
culture and stuff. It's a very thin
Yeah, but that
li-
doesn't apply to this.
Yeah, no,
movie.
I know. It's just like satire has become such a thin line. It's like sometimes it's like it's hard to tell what is and what it. Well, I think there are cases where it's easy to tell. But like I don't think this. I think this one is.
This
I
isn't
genuinely
an easy
don't know.
case.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes the movie so interesting.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it isn't interesting. I just don't
It's
know if I can.
Interesting, but...
And
I don't know if I
watching
like it.
again in a better headspace. I definitely think I caught more things that were self-referential and were kind of wink winks to the audience.
No,
that-
totally. There's like the
Like,
thing with
it's
like
really-
when
like,
the guy
obvious-
holding the sign of like one. of
Well,
his
yeah, that's the
lines.
most. I was gonna say the whole thing with the like studio exec who greenlights his.
Well, yeah, that's the
Animation.
the main push of this movie is obviously like self-referential, but that's where like I lean towards this being satirical because it is clear that this is autobiographical and self-referential in a way that he knew what he was doing.
I mean,
s-
Drew
but
Barrymore,
sometimes-
his wife, is in it.
Sometimes I wish that it
It's
was.
just weird.
I wish it pushed. I'm sure if he pushed the satire anymore, it probably wouldn't have been greenlit. But I wish it was almost a bigger fu to studio execs. You know what I mean? Like more outwardly that.
Yeah,
But
he does want to make a director's cut, so who knows
That's what
what
I'm
that
saying,
would be
that
like.
would-
I think that could reveal a lot about whether this was supposed to be a satire or whether this was supposed to be a dumb,
yeah,
gross out
I just
comedy.
don't. I'm at a point where I do not know how to rate this. I do not know. Like if I were rating this in like Letterboxd, I'd just give it the heart.
Me
At
too,
this
probably.
point,
I don't
'cause,
even
like,
think I'd give it the
You can't give it. I can't like. I'm not gonna give it like a 4 because like that's like the most like blah. Like I have no
Yeah.
real feelings about this. Like, and I don't necessarily
No,
think
I
it's
don't
like a
have
half
negative
star or a
feelings towards
1.
this movie
I
either.
feel like
I definitely have some negative feelings. I
Yeah,
think there is
like-
a lot of it that's pretty like unbearable.
It's
just
some of it is so unbearable.
the question of like
Yeah, the
was
question
this
of whether that's
purposeful or not?
intentional.
It's just, but it's such
what
a
makes it so,
it's such a
and that's what
difficult.
makes me enjoy it.
It's such a
though.
difficult thing to rate. I think I'm going to be
Like,
rating
I think,
this.
I think that's what makes me enjoy the movie is the
I feel
whole
like-
concept of is he intentionally being as Because, like, Gord is the protagonist of the movie, and he's the most unlikable person in the world. So, like, I don't
See,
see
then what
how
was
it
the
can't
point?
be intentional.
So did he? What was the point of the skateboarding? Tell
The
me that.
skateboarding scene? I don't know.
I think
That,
What was
that
the
might just
point?
appealed to his fan
Probably,
base.
yeah.
Tom Green just probably.
I mean,
I've
if
been
you
learning how to
asked,
skateboard.
if you asked Mike from Red Letter Media, he like made a symbolism about him
That's
doing the skateboard
It's
through
such.
the mall.
It's an act. What Nick? What do you have to say?
I would just say I have to agree with Roger Ebert that the fact that this movie is not funny at all.
I disagree that it's not funny at all.
Well, I disagree because
I was laughing
could
at a
not
number
find
of
myself
scenes.
laughing. I was just more charmed by like what the hell was happening.
I thought the scene where you obviously used like a different camera and he's in the rain and he throws out all his old cartoons to work at the submarine shop was hilarious. I do think
Don't even
the
know.
hospital scene is really funny.
I don't know.
I do think
don't
the
know.
whole
Eileen-
concept
And also,
of,
Edge is just on like using racial humor just to be funny. Like the
No.
Native American women in the hospital makes
Yeah.
completely no sense. And it's,
well, that
it
whole
kind
scene
of comes
doesn't make
off as
sense.
just
Why are there Native American women and a woman
I don't
giving
know.
birth in
'Cause
the
maybe
same
Tom-
room as his friend with a broken leg?
maybe Tom Green just was like, let's put some funny stuff in.
Because
Native
it's
Americans
just trying to
in
be
there.
edgy.
Yeah,
That's where I
that's
come
the
down on
issue.
like I don't think it's very. I also don't think it's necessarily funny.
Because things
There's
like
so
that,
many just like dumb like him just like yelling and
Yeah.
saying nonsense. It's just like it gets to a point where it's like this is not funny. It's or like him
Well-
like the scene I think about when I think of like peak not funny is him in that stupid like sausage factory or
Oh my
whatever.
God, yeah,
it's just
what
him
the hell
screaming.
was
It's just there's nothing like satirical about it. There's nothing funny about it at all. It's just like real genuinely annoying to watch.
No, but the fact that that's like 10 minutes in the movie and we barely know where he is, and that it just came off after a scene of him randomly jerking a horse off,
It's just
is
this,
what kind of makes it funny within
it's
the
just
context
it's the
of
set
the movie.
it's that sort
I
of
mean,
like
maybe
8-year-old
it's
he's like I'm a saucy boy like it's the sort of
I'm
like
like, look at me, daddy, look at me.
it's like a sort of like it's like Levon. it's like the stuff our little brothers would like.
Yeah, and that's where you
Find
can
funny in
also
a couple
think
years.
it's kind of an attack on the people who do like gross out comedies.
I don't know.
It just all depends on where you stand on, is Tom Green a
Genius?
secret mastermind or is he
I don't
I don't
a
think he's a secret
complete
master.
idiot? And I think it
because
falls,
what else has he done
I think it falls somewhere in between. I haven't
besides
seen
the
Tom
show?
Green
Like what else is?
Yeah. I don't.
He hasn't done anything. I think Freddy got.
So I'm
He made like
saying-
1 or 2 comedies after that. I think he
I
does
don't-
like live shows.
Okay.
He never directed anything.
Have
I
you
don't
seen
believe.
his TikTok?
I don't believe.
It's TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
Based off of like the interviews I've seen about this movie, it seems like he's somewhere in the middle of I made it as an FU, but I also made it because like
Okay.
some of the stuff in
That just comes off as he doesn't know what he's done.
which could be true.
I
mean,
I think
think
he's
the
just trying to
director's
ride
cut
the
could be
wave.
very revealing.
What if it just adds the gay kissing scene and that's it?
That's it.
That'd be
That's
funny.
it.
But I don't know. It's an
What if it
interesting
takes
movie.
off time?
What if it took out like?
took
I
out?
am in the middle of a 90-minute analysis of this movie
I don't.
by a YouTuber called Style is Substance,
I've seen he's
he's a pretty good YouTuber.
Shout out.
Pretty
Go
interesting
subscribe
ideas.
to Style Over Substance.
Style is Substance.
Style, Style Not Substance on YouTube.
So what would we rate?
Okay, yeah. What's the deal here? Are we rating this? I'm giving it a shrug for the listeners out there. I'm giving. I just can't. I'm not gonna give this like a. I can't rate this. I can't. I don't know what I could rate it.
I do think I like this movie. As much as it's hard to watch
10?
at points,
Another 10?
as much as I think it's like a challenge, I do think I like this movie. And it will forever fascinate me.
Oh yeah, I'll never
It will
forget
never
it.
not be an interesting movie to me.
What's the?
So I don't know.
You
I don't
scoring
know.
it? Are you giving it a
Probably
rating?
not going to score it for now. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll give
Mixing
it
it
a
like a
score.
1.
I'm giving it an awesome-tacular.
An epic out of 10.
It gets my certified
Tubular?
badass
It's,
seal
I
of
can walk
approval.
backwards.
Yeah.
fast as you can. I can walk backwards.
Skateboarding scene is awesome. All right, Freddy.
I think the whole news clip of his girlfriend in the rocket-powered wheelchair.
That was the one
funny.
thing I chuckled at. Just the wheelchair blasting off down the.
Come on, and then him being like, I got you these jewels. I thought that was funny.
We need a remake.
Oh,
The
man.
Modern
emotional
day-
scene where his dad is covered in elephant semen and Tom Green looks like a lunatic.
That just came off as like.
You can barely hear what he's saying because the music is mixed so loudly.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a poorly made film.
Remember
Dude.
the scenes that were just completely differently color graded?
Oh yeah, the
No, it wasn't scenes. It was like
It was
specific-
shots.
It was
Scenes
specific-
and shots.
I don't know how they accidentally.
Yeah, I don't either.
There were because there were definitely scenes in which they couldn't get two actors together, and they like
Yeah.
filmed them
Do you
at
think
different.
so?
That had to be the Drew,
100%.
That had to be the Drew Barrymore scene.
No,
No,
not
because
that.
they were
married.
Well,
there were
that's the
definitely
only scene I can think of where it was color graded.
not even
differently.
color grading stuff. It's just scenes where there's like so many cuts in between them where I 100% think that they
Like
just
what
weren't in.
scenes?
I can't remember
I
exact
don't think
ones. I just
so.
remember thinking like, oh, this. It seems that as if these two people were not in the same room together recording these lines of dialogue.
The only scene where the color grading happens is with Drew Barrymore, who definitely was present with him because it was his
I'm
wife.
not saying based on color grading. I'm just saying based on
And
like,
that other scene, which is clearly shot on a different camera, in the rain and while sad music plays. Or
whatever. I'm done. I don't have
fascinating
anything
movie
else to
about
say
Freddy.
about this.
Wait, what are you rating it?
Awesome.
Awesome-tacular?
Yeah.
Not dog shit? Like
No.
Jeremy's
Jeremy Johns.
other reviews?
I'd buy it on Blu-ray.
Fine on Blu-ray.
I don't think there is
I
a
wish
Blu-ray.
they released
There
the
is not a Blu-ray. I've looked.
We do have the Criterion petition. It's still
Yeah.
up.
I won't think about this movie.
This will be
in
Freddy's big
T-minus
break.
15 minutes.
I mean, then we might get an interview.
Then we will get an interview. We'll get the director's cut. I wouldn't mind a Freddy Got Fingered Criterion.
Go sign my old petition to get Freddy Got Fingered.
We
on
made that like
Criterion.
2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Do you think it's even still
Before
running?
we
Do we
had
want
ever
to
seen
announce
this movie.
next movies, or do we
Yeah.
want to?
Oh yeah, T, right?
Yeah.
T or I?
So this is going at
Yeah,
the
let's
end.
just do T.
T. Yeah, let's just do T.
All right, what did
T.
you pick for T? Everyone know the directors?
I picked Tetsuo, the Iron Man.
director. Yeah, look that up.
I picked The Turin Horse by Bellatar.
Nick, what did you pick?
I didn't pick a movie.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
actually his last
That's-
episode.
No, that's true. He didn't
Yeah, I didn't
technically
pick a movie.
movie.
Because this is not a film. Directed by Jafar Pahani and... Oh boy.
See, mine is directed by Shinya Tsukamoto.
A little different names than Tom Green.
Yeah, we're going foreign next week.
Yeah, kind of all artsier movies too. A little different than the Face Off and Freddy Got Fingered episode.
I know, this is one for the books.
This was an all-time great episode.
And
So
Face
far.
of Another.
Yeah.
Wait, we
Really?
gotta pick favorites.
Oh yeah, favorites. Face Off.
Face
obviously.
Off.
Face of Another.
So we got we have 3 10s this episode
Yeah.
and a not rated.
And I do recommend you go watch Freddy Got
Me
Fingered.
too. Watch it with buds. I don't know if watch it alone.
Watch it with some bud.
If you watch
Say
it on
that.
drugs, it might terrify.
Don't
you.
say that.
It might be a horribly unfun and scary experience.
Watch it on acid. See how you feel.
Ketamine maybe.
Get some K2 in there.
Get some James
PCP.
in here and then watch that movie.
Whippets.
You'll
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Goodbye.